Very good morning, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 11th science biology and we are going to see the chapter number 9, that is biomolecules, right? If you wish to check my previous videos of the previous chapters, then you can check my YouTube channel for it. So let's start with today's chapter. First, we are going to see the introductory part of this chapter, right? So now the fundamental unit for all the living organism is cell. So as we have seen in the chapter 8 also, that without cell any of the living organism cannot be said to be a living one, right? So the fundamental unit for all the living organisms is the cell. Now the cell is made up of both organic as well as inorganic compounds, right? So now you need to know that the cell, now this cell is made up of two things, right? Organic components as well as the inorganic components, right? Now, on an elemental analysis of the cell, one can see that it is made of various elements such as carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and chlorine. So these are the four main types of elements which are observed, and based upon this, right, the whole cell is made up, right? So that is the important components of the cell is what? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and chlorine. Now what are biomolecules? So biomolecules are what? That all compounds that are carbon based, right? That means the compounds or the cells which are carbon based, right, and they are found in the living organism, those are said to be the biomolecules. Bio means living and molecules means with the help of this molecule such as carbon, right, the different compounds are formed or the different organisms are formed, right? So all the compounds that are carbon based and they are found in the living organism, they are termed as the biomolecules. Now in this chapter, we will study the structure and function of the biomolecules. So before going to the main topics that what exactly are biomolecules, right, and what is the structure as well as the function of biomolecules, we need to understand the detail of the biomolecules. So first of all, we are going to see that what are biomolecules. So there are certain molecules which are involved in the maintenance and the metabolic process of the living organism are termed as biomolecules. So now here there are several molecules, right, and these molecules, they are involved in the process of maintenance and the metabolic process. Maintenance means the maintaining of the body functions, right, as well as the metabolic processes, that means the whatever metabolism, that is catabolism and anabolism, which is taking place in your body, that is also with the use of the biomolecules. So when the biomolecules are there, so this molecules, they do perform two things. First is the maintaining of the body functions and second is the metabolism, right, that is the metabolic processes. Now anything that is synthesized naturally in an animal or plant body can be said as biomolecules. Now whatever is being synthesized naturally, that means no additional man-made things are being added in order to synthesize something, right, then that is known as biomolecules, right? Now, so whatever is been synthesized naturally, that is said to be biomolecules, right? Next is the organic molecules that are present in any living cell, which includes carbohydrates, proteins, fats, etc. Right? So the organic molecules are present inside the living cell. That means a particular living cell needs what? Organic molecules, right? And these organic molecules are nothing but the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and etc. Right? Now, each and every biomolecule is important as well as essential for the body function and is manufactured by the body. Now, these biomolecules you are not going to get from outside, right? They are developed and they are produced inside your body only. And this each and every biomolecule, it is very much important for the body functions. That means your body is having cells and each cell perform its own function. So the functioning of the body which is taking place, this is carried out or this has been done with the use of this biomolecules, and these biomolecules are being produced by your body only, right? Now they are of various types and differ according to their nature, type, and structure. Now the molecules, this biomolecules, they are of different types. We are going to see four different types of biomolecules in this chapter, and they are being differentiated or say they are being differed, they are being differed in nature, type as well as the structure. That means their nature is different, their type is different, as well as their structure is also different. Now they can be straight chains or could be cyclic rings, or they could be both. Now sometimes the structure says that they are straight chains, that means they are present in the form of straight chains. Sometimes they are also present in the cyclic ring form, and sometimes even both the structures are also being observed, right? Now they have varying physical properties in terms of their water solubility and melting points. Now they also vary from each other. That means they also differ from each other in terms of physical properties. That means with some physical properties also they are being different with each other, right? Different from each other. So that is what the water solubility, that means the water solubility, that means whether they are soluble in the water or not, as well as also it is based on the melting points. That means sometimes few biomolecules are like that they can be melted like at different points, melting points, right? Now, these biomolecules could be large macromolecules like proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, or carbohydrates, right? So, these biomolecules, they can be large macromolecules. Macro means very vast, right? That means they are very large molecules, right? So, this some biomolecules, they are large macromolecules, and the example of this large macromolecules are the proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, or carbohydrates. So these are the four different types of the biomolecules which are coming under the macromolecules, right? Now, they can also be small molecules, and the examples of the small molecules are primary metabolites, secondary metabolites, and the natural products. So, this all are produced inside your body only. So, we are going to study in detail about the primary metabolites, secondary metabolites, as well as the natural products. That means the natural products means whatever is being produced inside your body, right? That is said to be the natural products. Now, how to analyze the chemical composition? That means how you are going to analyze that this particular thing is the chemical composition. That means it is made up of the chemicals, right? So that is, first we are going to see is for the organic compounds, right? And after that we are going to see for the inorganic compounds. So for the organic compounds, the living tissue plus trichloroacetic acid, and they are going for the fusion, or they are going for the addition of the living tissue. That means you are taking the living tissue and you are adding trichloroacetic acid to this living tissue, and upon adding this trichloroacetic acid into the living tissue, after it the grinding is carried out, and upon the grinding a slurry is being formed. Now when this slurry is formed, this slurry is being filtered, and when the filtration is being carried out, two fractions are formed, right? And these two fractions are, first is the filtrate, and second, that is the either the filtrate, or it is also said to be acid soluble, right? So first it is, first fraction is the filtrate, and the second fraction is the retentate, right? Or this retentate is also known as acid insoluble, right? So filtrate is said to be the acid soluble, and retentate can be said as acid insoluble. So this way the organic compounds, they can be analyze that yes, this particular things are made up of chemicals, right? Second is for the inorganic compounds, right? So for the inorganic compounds, the sample of tissues should be burned to obtain ash and different kinds of inorganic compounds for identify. So here whatever the tissue is being taken, first this tissue is being burned, and upon burning the ash is formed, and when this ash is formed, different kinds of the inorganic compounds are present inside it, and this can be identified. So through this we can understand that there are several chemical compositions which is observed in the biomolecules, right? Now up till here this was about the chemical, that how we are going to analyze that yes, there is some presence of some chemical composition, right? Now we are going to see that what are the types of biomolecules, right? So the types of molecules are, first is micromolecules, and second is the macromolecules, right? So what are micromolecules? Micromolecules are known as simply monomers, right? And macromolecules, they are known as polymers. Monomers means in the simple form, and polymers means in the complex form. So when the micromolecules, that means the simpler forms. So the simpler forms are said to be the micromolecules, and when these simpler forms are joining with each other to form a complex molecule, that is known as macromolecules, or we can simply say as polymers, right? Now, also we are going to see about the primary and the secondary metabolites, right? So what are primary metabolites? Primary metabolites are those which have identifiable functions and play specific roles in normal physiological processes. Now let's take here and let's take an example to understand the primary metabolites. Now there is presence of proteins in your body. Now for the production of the, or for the formation of proteins, amino acids are needed, because proteins are nothing but the building blocks of the amino acids are said to be the building blocks of the protein. So for the formation of a protein, you need what? Amino acid. So proteins can be said to be as a secondary metabolite, for but for the production of that secondary metabolite, there should be presence of any primary metabolite, right? And that primary metabolite can be said as of the amino acid. Just an example has been given to let you understand. Okay, so this primary metabolites, right, they does not have the identifiable function. That means yet not all the functions are not known of the primary metabolites, but yet here we know that they play a specific role. That means they play a vital role in normal physiological processes. That means whatever physiological processes has been running in your body, the systems, whatever that is digestive, respiration, circulation, whatever physiological processes are running in your body, that is all being controlled, or they are being managed by the primary metabolites. The example of this primary metabolites are amino acid, proteins, nitrogenous bases, as well as the nucleic acids, right? Same way we are going to see about the secondary metabolites. In secondary metabolites, the secondary metabolites are product of certain metabolic pathways from primary metabolites. So once the primary metabolites are formed, based upon this primary metabolites, several metabolic pathways are running. That means the metabolism which is taking place of the primary metabolites leads to the secondary metabolites. That means once the primary metabolites is produced, the metabolism of this primary metabolites occur, and upon the uh, metabolism of this primary metabolites, it forms the secondary metabolites. Now the example of it is here. See, the pigments are been given, that the pigments, that is anthocyanin, carotenoids, right? Then in alkaloids, that is morphine, codeine. Then in essential oils, lemon, grass oil, right? Then polymeric compounds, that is rubber, gum, cellulose, resin. So these are all the example of the secondary metabolites. That means you are not directly getting all this pigments, alkaloids, this oils, or any of the polymeric compounds. For for the production of this secondary metabolites, first you need to have the primary metabolites. Say for example, the rubber is there, right? So for the rubber you need what? For taking or for the production of this rubber, first you need what? A tree. So that tree is said to be the primary metabolites, right? That means the wood which is from which the rubber is being derived. So a particular tree should need a bark, or a tree which is having brown bark, right? And from that you can extract what? The rubber. So for the extraction of the rubber and for the production of rubber, first you need what? The primary metabolites, and on the basis of those primary metabolites, the secondary metabolites are formed. Clear? So here the biomacromolecules, right? We have seen that two different types of like biomolecules, micromolecules as well as the macromolecules. But here biomacromolecules, that means whatever macromolecules which are present inside a living organism, those are said to be the biomacromolecules. Now it is a molecule with weight greater than 1000 Dalton, found in acid insoluble fraction. See here, this particular biomacromolecules, right, they have been found, or they are been having the weight which is comparatively greater than 1000 Dalton, right? So 1000, the weight of this molecule is more than 1000 Dalton. As well as this type of molecules, they are being found in the acid insoluble fraction, right? So the acid insoluble fraction, and when the particular weight is more than 1000 Dalton, those type of molecules, they are said to be the biomacromolecules, right? Next is now, so the examples of the biomacromolecules are polysaccharides, nucleic acid, proteins, lipids, right? So these are the examples of the biomacromolecules which are observed inside the body, right? So here you can uh, see, yeah, right, this is the whole flow chart which you are going to study in detail, right? And this particular flow chart says about the different types of the biomolecules, right? The first you can see here biochemistry, right? That means it includes the um, four main basic biomolecules, that is carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, and the proteins. So for the carbohydrates, right, this bio, what happens here, this carbohydrates, they get energy, right? This biochemistry, that means the carbohydrates, they get energy, and they get energy in, and they are present in the form two forms, right? First is sugars and second is the starches. And based upon these sugars and starches, right, the grazing animals, that means the animals which are herbivores, right? So whatever herbivores are present, this herbivores, they are going for the uptaking of the sugars as well as the starches from the particular plant. And this way, from the cellulose, right, what they do is they get energy from the cellulose. That means they get the energy in the form of this cellulose, that is they are nothing but the type of the carbohydrates. Next is the lipids, right? Now the lipids are responsible for storing the energy. So lipids are also of two, let's like, in lipids two things are present, fats and the oils, right? So just like carbohydrates, they were having sugars and starches, lipids do contain fats and oils, right? This fats and oils, they are coming from the animals only, right? And from in the animals, two types of fats are being observed, the saturated fats as well as the unsaturated fats, right? So for the lipid portion, the that is the storage of the energy is been taking place with the help of the fats and oils. And these fats are of two types, that is in animals it is observed as saturated fats and the unsaturated fats, right? Also this lipids are used to form the carbohydrates. How? That means as it is responsible for storing the energy, whenever the person is or the animal is starving, is in the starving condition, what happens, this particular stored lipid or the stored fat is being converted into the carbohydrates to get the energy, right? Third is the proteins, that is said that the it builds with the cell. That means the whenever the cell is being produced, this cell needs what? Protein for its development, right? And these proteins, they are made up of amino acid. That means the amino acids combine with each other to form the proteins. And these amino acids, they are linked with each other with a bond which is known as peptide bonds, right? Next is the fourth one, that is the nucleic acids. And nucleic, there are two main types of nucleic acids, the DNA and the RNA, right? The DNA and the RNA, this DNA and RNA, these are the types of nucleic acids which are found in the animals, right? And here, these nucleic acids, they are made up of nucleotides, and these nucleotides, they are having the bases as well as the pentose sugar. So none another, these nucleic acids, they are made up of nucleotides, and these nucleotides, they are made up of two things, that is first bases and second is pentose sugar. This is just an overview of this chapter. Just everything you are going to study in detail in the next lecture. I hope you are very clear with today's topic, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.